In the name of Allah, the most compassionate and the most merciful, ladies and gentlemen, dear viewers of this program, Filial Duties, welcome to this episode of our program. This is the very program that discovers and explores the duties of children towards their parents. If you watched our programs and our previous sessions, you already know that we've been discussing the value and the necessity of showing kindness and caring for our parents. Like the previous sessions, we have the precious presence of Hujjat al-Islam wal Muslimin, Mr. Alavi, with us in the studio. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Salamun alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh. Thank you for having me, dear brother, and I extend my salam and greetings to our dear viewers around the world. Inshallah, they are in perfect health and prosperity, and inshallah, we can have a good program today.
Inshallah. We know how much it is stressed, it is emphasized in our religious scriptures, in the lifestyle of our Holy Prophet and his Ahlul Bayt, to show kindness, to show affection to our parents. And we are just talking about this topic in our previous programs. We have learned a lot of lessons. What lessons do you have for us this session from Quran, from the Ahadith?
Actually, a few weeks ago, something very tragic happened, and one of my friends lost both his parents in an accident. It was very sudden and it was very tragic. It was a huge loss, and makes you wonder. Stuff like this makes you wonder about what should we do when we lose a parent. And I thought that maybe one of these weeks, in one of these episodes, we should talk about that in this program. And let's talk about that today, about the fact that what should we do when we lose a parent? What should we do after we have lost the chance of being in their physical presence and serving them, being kind to them? Is there a way for us to continue showing our love and affection for our parents and maybe amend the mistakes that we have done during our lifetime? Well, we know that in our religious belief, in Islam, specifically in Shiism, we place a great deal of importance on praying for forgiveness for those who are passed away, who are no longer in this world with us. I say it, in our religion, because in different religions there is different perspective for this matter. For example, in Christianity, they believe that after someone dies, the book of deeds and actions for that person is closed, done. Everything that they have done in this world, they will take away to the afterlife, and that's done. Nothing can be added to it, nothing can be removed from it. And in the Old Testament, it reads, whatever your hand finds to do, do it with all your might. For in the realm of the dead, where you are going, there is neither working nor planning, nor knowledge nor wisdom. It means that everything you can do is here in this world, and after that, nothing else can be done. And whatever you took with you, that's it. Your destiny will be determined judging by what you did in the world. And it's the same thing in our belief system as well. But we believe that whatever is done in this world regarding a specific person can affect their destiny, even if they are dead, even if they are passed away. So everything that goes in your book of actions is done in this world, but not necessarily by you yourself during your lifetime. after you die, it can change. Something can be added to it, something can be removed from it. And frankly, in the Bible, as far as I have seen, there are no references to the matter in question about the, changing the book of deeds after death. And there are nothing indicating that a child should pray for their parents' forgiveness after they pass away. However, according to Quranic teachings, a person's deeds are not limited to this world. Um, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in chapter Al-Infitar describes the day of judgment like this. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. إذا السماء انفطرت وإذا الكواكب انتثرت وإذا البحار فجرت وإذا القبور بعثرت علمت نفس ما قدمت وأخرت. When the sky is rent apart, when the stars are scattered, when the seas are merged, and when the graves are overturned, then a soul shall know what it has sent ahead and left behind. This is according to our Quranic teachings. We realize that the deeds that we do in this world, we send it ahead for the day of judgment to be for us to be judged based on them, and we have left things in this world as well. Those things can affect our destiny in the day of judgment. And one of the main things that everyone leaves in this world is their children.
Mhm.
That's us, the children of the parents who passed away. We are their legacy. We have the power to change our parents' destiny after they pass away. And frankly, we can change it for the better or worse. Sometimes we only think that, we can just change it for the better. We can elevate their position. No, if you do something bad in their name, they will have to answer for that as well.
Right.
And they actually, their position can decline as well. Imam Sadiq alayhi salam says, nothing shall persist after a person's death except the following three. First, an act of charity and benevolence that persists even after the person has died. Somebody will build a mosque that people will continue to pray in. Somebody will build a hospital, schools, I don't know, usually a charity, establishing a charity that people still donate to that charity, to that cause. And actually, that will echo to the afterlife. And these kind of acts of charity and benevolence will echo, and they can change your destiny. They can still add the rewards from these acts of charity and benevolence. They will be added to your book of deeds and amal. Second, a good custom or methodology that is still followed after his death. For example, a teacher who teaches very good methods of how to handle yourself in the society, how to treat people. The teacher will die at some point, and the student might be still alive. They grow up, they enter the society, they will actually implement all they have learned from that teacher, the good things that they have learned from that teacher. And every time they do something good, the teacher will benefit from that as well, because he established that. Different acts of charity, new ways, creative ways of helping other people, like donating blood, like giving people supplies in different ways, raising money for forgotten causes. These are things that we can establish, customs that we can establish that will, actually transcend our lifetime, and we will be affected by whatever that brings to life, inshallah. And third, a righteous child who prays for him and asks for him to be forgiven after he has died.
Mhm.
So, three legacies
Mhm.
that we can leave in this world. One is an act of charity or benevolence, a custom, a good custom that people still follow, and a righteous child
Mhm.
that will continue to pray for you, continue to do good things on your behalf, and that will like actually be counted for you in the afterlife. So any good deed that a child performs for on his father or mother's behalf will affect their afterlife, will change their destiny, and it is we have been repeatedly advised by the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam to perform prayers on their behalf after they pass away, to perform Hajj on their behalf, take care of their debts, give alms, perform fasts, recite Quran
Mhm.
for them in their memory. And these are only very evident things that we can do. There are lots of things that we can do for our parents to keep their memory alive, to continue helping them to get rewards even after they die.
Yeah, right. Uh, about the fact that we have to continue performing prayers and maybe performing the fast that they have missed. Is there something else you would like to mention?
Actually, yes, that's a good point. The fact that our children have the opportunity to perform the fasts and prayers that their parents missed in
Hmm.
their own life, the obligatory
Hmm.
fasts and prayers that they have missed, is proves that raising a righteous child is very important.
Hmm.
Because frankly, in our own lifetime, we might miss a lot of prayers. We might some people in some points of their lives they might take prayers and fasting and any act of worship for granted, and
Hmm.
they sometimes they have trouble in their beliefs and they don't do prayers, they don't perform salah during the days every day, and they miss that, but they account for it. They write it in a will and they ask their children to please perform these salah on my behalf. I have, for example, 2 years of fast, 2 years of salah as qada.
Hmm.
And the fact that they can do this on our behalf, on their parents' behalf, means that you have to put extra attention on how to raise your child to be righteous, to be actually kind enough to put up the effort after the parent is gone, put up the effort and perform what he has missed in this life from the obligations that he had. So that's very important. Thank you for mentioning that. Yeah,
That really is hard to imagine how the world and how the life would be without your parents, isn't it?
indeed.
When you think about it, I personally feel a little bit like frightened imagining the world without my parents.
Yeah, sure. It's very morbid to
Mhm.
think like that, and but it's a fact that we have to come to peace with. There,
Mhm.
we all wish that we go before our parents. We
Yeah.
don't like to see that day. We don't like to see that empty place, that empty house. Um, we miss them greatly, and but things can change in a matter of blinking an eye, and in a matter of seconds. As I said, my friend's parents, they weren't, uh, ill. They were completely healthy. They weren't that old even, but an accident happened and they were taken away. It was a huge loss, and that family will never be the same after such a loss. And it's actually very frightening to think about it, as you mentioned. What's more frightening is this realization that my friend had at the funeral, another friend of mine. He said, I only see my parents twice a year because they live in another city. And they are both over 60 years old.
Mhm.
The life expectancy in this country is around 7 years. So he said that, well, first I think that, yeah, I have 10 years at least with them. But then In my particular situation, I only see them twice a year, so I only have 20 more times to see them. That's a slap in the face.
Yes.
10 years suddenly becomes 20 times. That's huge to take in. And it makes you wonder, how many days do you have with your parents? How many times you're going to go to their house, open that door and see their faces? How many times you're going to see that smile again? And that's something that, if you think about it, you will probably know the value of your parents better, and you will cherish them much more, because frankly, after they're gone. Nothing can fill their place. Nothing can actually replace them, and you will be left with a big load of regret, a big load of missed opportunities, things that you could have amended and you didn't. So let's say that today could be the day that we stop ignoring them. Uh, Today is the day that you should pick up that phone and call them. You should actually get in your car and go visit them. Today is the day that to try to connect your parents to your children more, and try to bridge this generation gap.
Mm-hmm.
Familiarize your children with their grandparents more, because sometimes that's the case. I mean, we actually dismiss this important fact that we need to actually give our parents enough time with their grandchildren. That's very cherishable to them, because it's somehow a restart for them when they become grandparents.
Mm-hmm.
It's again start of all that joy and happiness of having another kid. So if we actually somehow prevent that from happening, and somehow we mm, don't let them have that joy, it's very bad, and it's very mean, actually. We still have time to see them. Those parents who are alive, we still have time to see them. If our attitude has a problem, if we don't treat them as kindly as today could be the day that we can change that attitude. Um, Today is the day to forgive. A lot of times we have problems with our parents, we have disputes, we have difference of opinions that will cause distance, that will put distance between us. Today is the day to forgive and to seek forgiveness. If we have something in our heart from if we don't like to go there, if we are somehow put distance between ourselves, we haven't gone visiting them for a while, today is the day to end that and go there, visit them. And for those who have lost their parents, those parents who are taken away, those they might think that they have lost their chance, but as we said, you haven't lost your chance, and there is always hope. You can still serve them, you can still make them happy by sending them rewards from this world with what you do that would help them in the other world. Because here we are, we can do things with our hands, but their hands are tied. Their hands cannot do anything in this world anymore. So it actually means much more to them, because they are in absolute need. The parents who have passed away are in absolute need. Maybe when they are in this world, they don't need you that much. But now that they have passed away, they need you twice as much. They need you tenfold. It's beyond measure how much they need you. And we should actually consider that whenever we think about our parents who are passed away.
Well, I remember in one of our programs you talked about Dua Mashlul and how that man was taught to read this dua to be forgiven for what he had done to his father.
Yes, actually, that's a very good example. There is always room for hope. We think that if our parents pass away, we might lose the chance forever. But the story of Dua Mashlul tells us that even if you are damned
Mm-hmm.
by your parents, even if you are inflicted by their curse
Mm-hmm.
somehow, uh, there is still room for hope. Then you can be, saved, and that mistake that you have done can be amended by praying for them for forgiveness and trying to, send rewards for them by doing good deeds on their name. And there is a very important hadith from Imam al-Jawad alayhi salam. He says, should one be good to his parents in their life but refuses to pay their debts and ask for them to be forgiven after they die, he shall be regarded as one damned by his parents in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it means that you are good to your parents when they are alive. After they pass away, you don't care anymore.
Right.
People come to you, they say, "Yeah, your father was in debt to me. Please pay the debt." You don't care. You don't care about the haqqun nas on your father's, shoulders, and you don't pray for them to be forgiven. Such a child would be considered as aq, as damned in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Imam Jawad alayhi salam continues, on the other hand, if a person is damned by his parent, if a person is damned by his parents and refuses to do good to them when they are alive, but pays their debts and ask for them to be forgiven after they die, he shall be counted among those who do good to their parents in the sight of Allah subhanahu
Thank
wa
you
ta'ala.
very much. I'm really sorry I need to interrupt you because once again we have come to the end of this program. I personally enjoyed, and I hope that our dear viewers have also taken enough benefits of your beautiful words and sentences. Thank you very much, dear viewers, for being with us. Until
Thank
the
you.
next program. Goodbye.